spent my first 15 years trying to get out of the woods because I thought it was horrible. And I spent the next 20 years trying to get back. The truth of the matter is we need to be well-rounded individuals like our forefathers were.
Ho! Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Mountain Readiness Mondays. I'm your host, T, coming at you live from Wilkes County, North Carolina. Appalachia, here in the mountains, the home of NASCAR, the home of more moonshine ever hauled out of the hills, I think, than anywhere else in the United States. The Uncatchable Call, all those type of stuff. Not that we get into that type of stuff anymore, but hey, it's where we're at. Welcome to another episode. Thank you for joining us tonight out there in the world. We got Fixer SHD. Let's go. Awesome. Appreciate you being here. Sandra Davis, Swordsman, my man, Patrick Seven, always in the house. Appreciate you, brother. Let's get started here. You know, I've got to do the laundry. That's part of the deal. We have no Russ of Oz back behind the curtains too. So I've got to fumble through all of these different little, media assets and click here and click there and all that kind of stuff. Usually I have Russ doing this for me, but hey, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you would. Hit that button, make the algorithm gods happy. Shine favorably upon us. You know the routine. That's what they ask. That's what they ask. It isn't a big deal. If you could just throw that on there, give us a little love there out in the media land. You know the routine too. This episode is brought to you by the Sovereign Health Summit. Scan that QR code if you would. The Sovereign Health Summit, of course, is going to be October the 27th through the 31st and at the Van Hoy Family Campground, Harmony, North Carolina. We're bringing all of the big names in alternative health all in one spot for 5 consecutive days. You know, in the preparedness world, we talk so often about survival and practical skills and our gear and, you know, how much food we have on the shelf. But what is our number one prep, guys? What is our number one prep? Is our health. Without your health, you literally have, it's just stuff. It's just stuff. So health is our number one priority when we're talking about preparedness. And look, when it comes to mainstream medicine, I'm not going to knock it. There is a place for everything like that. Like, look, if you hit your femoral artery, like, I don't want you to crumble up a bunch of yarrow and stuff it in there. You need a hospital. You need modern medicine. It's just the way it goes. But in this world, there is no doubt that we also, who was it? It was, help me out, Herrick, let me think, the Greek, I should bring on my guest because he probably knows. The Greek physician, he said, let thy food be thy medicine, let thy medicine be thy food. And Hippocrates, that's who it was. You know, it's been a while since I've been in school, guys, but you know, there is a place for this. And so the Sovereign Health Summit is going to be Barbara O'Neill, our headliner. We've got Dr. Tenpenny, Doc Lee Merritt, Jonathan Otto, AJ Richards from the farm, my good friend, UFC champ Pat Miletich, Doc Will Spencer. The list goes on and on and on and on. And these are people that you're going to be able to listen to for 5 days, interact with, sit down and break bread, and learn how to heal yourself and to make yourself better. So enough of that. Let's go on to our next one. My media assets, of course. Right before Sovereign Health Summit is Fallout. We changed the date, October the 23rd through the 25th. So Friday, Saturday, and Sunday is Mountain Readiness Fallout. And then Monday we flip-flop, and then we go right into the Sovereign Health Summit for 5 days. Here's the cool part, is that you guys wanted you didn't like doing it afterwards. I heard your cries, and I said, yeah, we're going to put this on the weekend before. So if you have bought a ticket to the Sovereign Health Summit, you can go to Fallout for free. It costs you nothing, because we just want you to come and hang out and learn. If you're willing to come for 5 days, go ahead and hit the weekend beforehand and do the whole thing. You're going to get all kinds of hands-on. We've got all kinds of preparedness, tactical guys, anything from forging your own blade to trapping, to tracking, you name it. We've got it. And then we're going to go right into the Sovereign Health Summit after that. And then, of course, last but not least, in less than 2 months, we have Mountain Readiness West in Montana. We're going to be in Swan Lake, 1 hour from Glacier National Park. It's going to be amazing. We're going to eat elk. We're going to eat moose. We're going to do hands-on processing. This place is 80-acre veteran-owned lodge. We've got a dining hall that seats like over 200 classrooms. We've got a ton of instructors that are going to Montana from here, as well as new instructors that are going to be teaching there. It's going to be a blast. And did I mention it's 1 hour from Glacier National Park, which I'm going to partake in that myself. I've never been there. I hear it's amazing. I've got to see it. So I'm going, and you guys should too. If nothing else, you're supporting veterans, and I'm all about that. So let's get to our show tonight. I see comments in there. Hey, Mr. Tom Bryce. Now, Tom, he's going to be there. I see Nature Reliance is in the chat, which he's backstage. So we need to bring him out here and get started. But tonight, don't forget, if you have questions, I need to hide this other banner. Let's go back to my media assets here. There we go. Craig, hashtag Craig for questions. And we're going to do a giveaway tonight. Craig's going to pop a question, but let's bring Craig out now. There he is, the man, the myth, legend, Mr. Craig Caudill from Natural School Reliance. Appreciate you, man. Thanks for being here tonight.
Yeah, it's good to be here, man. Thanks, T.
Absolutely. So I gotta read off you just about like killed a forest with this with the credentials you got here, man. So let's introduce our guest for any of y'all that have not heard of Craig, which I think most of you have. But tonight we sit down with one of the most respected names in the world of wilderness survival, bushcraft tracking, and backcountry navigation, Mr. Craig Caudill. Craig is the director and the lead instructor of Nature Reliance School, where he has spent years teaching practical self-reliance skills to everyone from everyday outdoorsmen to elite military units, law enforcement officers, search and rescue professionals. He is a certified Master Naturalist, best-selling author, and internationally recognized expert in survival and man tracking. Craig has dedicated his life to helping people better understand the natural world and their place within it. He is the author of books including Extreme Wilderness Survival and Ultimate Wilderness Gear, and co-author of Essential Wilderness Navigation. Beyond the classroom, Craig has tested his skills through multiple 30-day wilderness excursions, carrying nothing more than a knife, proving his teachings are rooted in real experience. Welcome to the show. Can I just hit you with a question right out of the gate?
Go for it.
All right. Milwaukee or DeWalt?
Milwaukee.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I'm so happy.
I used to be a DeWalt guy back because I worked construction for several years, but man, when they got more popular, the quality went to crap, man. It's just not quality stuff anymore.
You're not lying. I was also a DeWalt guy. And I figured I'd just throw that out there because I knew you dabbled in the construction stuff.
I did. For about 3 years, I worked for my cousin. He had a construction business. We started out just doing windows, but man, we built decks and additions and redid kitchens and bathrooms, all that stuff. It was one of those things that I can do that with somebody telling me what to do, but me alone, I suck at that. like bad.
I got lucky. I quit school at 14 and I started working. We were living in Bruno, Arkansas, in the middle of nowhere. That's between Mountain Home and Harrison. And so I went to work for this old hillbilly up in the woods. They were, he was a brick mason. So I cut my teeth in that. And then I ended up in Fort Wayne, Indiana, working for the Amish. So I got broke in real quick, man, on the construction thing. It was nonstop. I was 17. I remember I had 2 kids. They were like 15 and 16. So our crew was, none of us were even of age. And they would throw us, we did this addition. I remember the first year, and it was cookie cutter houses. And me and these 2 kids, all of us were kids. We were framing a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1.5 car garage every 3 days. That was frame it, sheet it, roof it, set all the windows and doors next. Now they weren't huge, it was, 1,200, 1,500, but good night. It was every 4th day we're breaking ground, depending on where it fell. But I had to ask though, because I remember in the day of just with Makita. You remember Makita that had the 84-foot long battery out the back of them? And then it was DeWalt, and then they started to suck, and then Milwaukee now. So I'm glad we're on the same page.
Yeah, Milwaukee guy.
Milwaukee all day long. That put my mind at ease, man. You have no idea.
So I can stay now. I don't get
you can stay. I was like, we were experiencing technical difficulties. Bam, Craig just disappears off the screen. Oh, what happened? I have no idea. Freaking DeWalt stuff. Makita has a coffee maker. That's what. No kidding. Maybe they're trying to redeem themselves. I mean, that's a good way for them to redeem themselves, as far as I'm concerned. Because coffee, kind of the staff of life. I need it.
Patrick 7 in the chat is he's kind of coming after us here, man.
He is, but Patrick, there's a lot of times I got to look at Patrick and say, man, you need to just put your purse down. This is one of those times.
Okay. Let me, I reread what he wrote. He did say his old DeWalt stuff.
It is.
I do have an old DeWalt drill that is going strong, but if I'm buying anything newer, I'm going Milwaukee.
What? There is no way you're replacing Milwaukee stuff every 3 months, though. I'm gonna tell you right now, I've got Milwaukee stuff out there that run as a road technician working on a heavy truck and trailer.
Okay, I'm new here, but I like these people. Harbor Freight is my spirit animal in the chat. I love it. That's good.
I don't know. Harbor Freight is one of them places that is just like, it's either awesome or it is complete garbage. Like you have no in between.
I'll tell you what I'm getting all day, every day. Well, I shouldn't say I'm being dramatic, but they make these Pelican case knockoffs that are fantastic, man. I've got several of those to handle a bunch of radio stuff, because I mean they are actually affordable. Oh yeah, and they're tough built. I actually just bought one to put all my Milwaukee batteries in. I was tired of them flying all over the back of the truck. So they all stack in there and lock them down. And Paul Christopher, what's going on, man? Thanks for jumping into the comments, brother. But yeah, they're great. I'll tell you another thing that I've been buying from them is the Predator generators and the Predator power banks. School supplies, yeah. They are the best, 100% hands down. And even the one, I mean, all of them. I've got a buddy that does solar installs, and he nerds out on the whole like frequencies and electricity, and don't ask me, it's not my world. Yeah. But he said that they have the cleanest, the motor creates the cleanest power than anything else, above Honda, above everybody. Nice. And man, I got one of those 13,000 watt ones, and that sucker runs most of the house. Yeah, sure. I wired it up for that. So I thought that was well worth the money. That, and what was it, $1,200 versus $5,000 if I wanted a Honda? Yeah, it's crazy, man. I mean, it's insane. I don't know how they do it. In Harbor Freight too now. I don't know who that was that said that, but that was good. No, for sure. Yeah, Harbor Freight is great for storage needs. You are correct, 007. So remember, guys, hashtag Craig for any questions. Let's jump into some stuff tonight here. Craig, hit everybody with just a brief backstory of, who you are, what you do, where you come from, things of that nature. Yeah, thanks for asking. So I'm a good old Kentucky boy, good old country boy from Kentucky. Grew up here, lived in the same small town, Winchester, my entire life, except when I went to University of Kentucky, and grew up. I usually use the term hobby farming. That's how my dad had a good job at Lexmark International. to take care of the family and whatnot, but we farmed. And because he worked so much at work, a lot of the small details were handled by me on the farm, even as a kid. But real early on as a kid, it was mainly just playing in the woods and playing in the creeks and stuff while he was out there doing stuff on the weekends. So that's where I started developing an isolationist mindset, I guess, of getting out and just exploring on my own by myself, and really enjoyed that part of growing up. And we did a lot of period correct reenacting, dressing up like Daniel Boone, Simon Kenton, George Arthur Clarke, and people like that, and shooting muzzleloaders in competition and just going to rendezvous and having a good time. That was the thing. It was a little different than most people. And then went to school, kind of got away from a lot of the outdoorsmanship, grew up, did a lot of hunting, fishing, and all that stuff, but got away from it in college because I had to put myself through college, and working 2, sometimes 3 jobs to get through college took all my time. Man, I missed it too. I really missed it. But after that, then it wasn't too long after I graduated, I got married. We just had we think it's our 35th wedding anniversary. It might be 34. We can't remember how long we've been married. But so my wife was brand new to doing stuff in the outdoors. So we were doing some things together. I was introducing her to camping, literally, and then we enjoyed it quite a bit. So we had our kids in the outdoors quite a bit. We homeschooled all the way through. She did 98% of it. I helped when I could. So a lot of our time, a lot of our biology class, if you will, was going outside and studying and doing stuff together as a family. And it was Nature Reliance School, the organization that I run now, was started in 2006. And it was started because I was teaching martial arts for a living. And I had some martial arts students that wanted to get outdoors and learn stuff. And I started teaching some of them, not a lot of them, but some of them. And that kind of grew until I started teaching. And I know this sounds strange to say it this way, but I started teaching what I would refer to as strangers, people I didn't know. I would put a class up and I would teach something like a survival class or something of that nature. And there would be people that would come to it, pay to come to it, that I didn't know, which from an instructor's perspective is different. Training family is one thing, training friends is another, training complete strangers to you is a different animal. And so I started developing my craft as an instructor. As I like to say to our students when we're in class, I spend as much time learning how to teach people as I have the topics that I teach. And so I put a lot of effort and time and energy and research into doing that. And I guess what got me a little bit of popularity was I started working for a company that was basically an internet marketing company, and they had hired me to do videos for YouTube, which was a thing that I didn't know what this was at all. This was probably 15 years ago. I didn't know what YouTube was. They just wanted me to take their gear, take it outside, show people how to use it, whether it was knives or packs or filters or whatever. And that introduced me to, for lack of a better way of saying it, the business side of doing things, because they were excellent internet marketers. And so I got introduced to social media and blogs, and one of the things that the guy that ran it, who's still a good friend, said, "Hey, Craig, if you write a book, you'll become an overnight expert. You just got to write your first book." And I had never in a million years thought I would write a book. I mean, ever. At that point, I just didn't think it was a thing. And now I've written 8. So,
oh, wow. I didn't realize you had 8 under your belt now.
Yeah. I say I've written 8 books or field guides. There's 2 little field guides. I would call them field guides. They're small. And the others are full on books, including a children's book. I think, to keep it short, man, that's where we are.
No doubt. Reviewing gear though, that would be a cool job. I've tried to get into that myself, but you gotta be in the space. You don't like it?
No, I don't like it. In our followers, on our social media platforms don't care for it either. They really, I've got a fair amount of knowledge on all things outdoors, plants in particular, and trees, and our followers love it when I do that. And we see a remarkable difference when we just do some simple review. Now, there's some companies that pay us to do review. And so when that happens, we can dedicate more time because I'm getting paid to do it. instead
Yeah.
of, offering free information on social media like I do all the time. So when that happens, we make some really good gear reviews. And the thing that I love about it is like a lot of people years ago, I would review anything that people sent me. But now I'm very, very selective on what gear I review. And so it makes it a higher quality video, 'cause my wife does all our videography, and it's usually high quality products too that I really can feel good about.
I'm a gear snob. I've got to say, I don't there. I can't. I've never bought anything from Temu, to be completely honest. I just haven't. All the gear stuff. Now I did. No, wait a second. My wife had got something, and she was like, "Hey, what do you want?" And it's crazy because their marketing is it's obnoxious. It's like, spin the wheel here. I
Yes.
give you 85 free gifts. And I'm like,
Yes.
what? Are you serious? You're just going to give me this? So I grabbed some, they had carabiners and stuff like that. Yeah. Do not use carabiners from Temu. It will
No.
not
Oh
support
my
your
gosh.
weight. It will not support your weight.
No. I don't think I'd be using carabiners or
Sick.
rope.
Yeah,
or
luckily I wasn't going down I knew better than to cruise down the hill back here. One of these days, it's just not fitting into the thing yet, Tom. To be completely honest. And I don't want to do like a lot of this stuff that you see, this crap out here, AI written stuff. Like, there's a lot of authors out there now. I'm just going to throw that out there, since AI has evolved in the past year or so. So I know it has its place. Let's jump back here for a second. So
Yeah.
Something I really like to ask people, because it's so important, because your partner is a make it or break it piece of the puzzle. And you had said you don't know if it's been 34, 35 years. What is the key to a strong marriage? Because it sounds like your wife does a ton, and you talk about it quite often, even on social media, editing videos and things like that. What is the key? What's kept your marriage strong for, 34, 35 years?
Two things. One, we're Christians, and we consider our relationship to be a triangle, her, me, and God. And so it's a 3-person group there, and we go to God a lot for a lot of things, and we've been blessed. I mean, it's just that simple. It's just that simple, really. But number 2 would be her remarkable power of discernment, I think, is what I would describe it. If she heard me talking about her right now, she would laugh. She's not an incredibly social person. And because of that, she's very discerning. She can see through a lot of crap. I am just the opposite. I'm very naive. If I'm frank and honest, I'm naive. I've been swindled a few times by some people that should have not swindled me. I should have listened to her long before I did. She's incredibly discerning, and so she offers insight that takes a lot of the emotion out of things, and looks at it from a critical eye. And there's just so much that I just couldn't do. With that said, even though she's like that, she's very creative and very artsy. She got an art scholarship to college. She used to teach art. She's transferred a lot of that energy from that kind of thing, because she doesn't paint or draw that much anymore, into the videography for the school. And so she frames stuff up in a way that I would never. She'll just tell me to do things on camera, like, Craig, just walk through here a second. Okay. Stand right there. I'm going to hold on. And then I'll see her basically squat down or get on a ladder, or, she's doing all these things to make it visually appealing to people. So it's not just Craig throwing information out. It's her. I mean, the success is her. I mean, for years I was doing all the stuff. She was still homeschooling the kids. And so when our kids left the nest and all that kind of good stuff, she started doing a lot of that with me. And she took Facebook from like 65,000 followers to now we have 1.9 million.
Wow.
And she, Instagram is near 700,000, and YouTube's up to 270,000. These are all things that happened under her watch, not mine. And again, it's mainly her artsy side that makes that happen, and using the information that I can provide as the instructor.
No, I mean, your videos are on point, man. I love watching, you get, she does a great job setting them up too. Cause I get, there's that, that first 2 to 3 seconds that you have to grab the attention, and she pulls it off.
That's her
flawlessly.
So I'm boring. I'm an educator, so I have data in my mind. I have a degree in statistics, so I'm very statistically minded and have a lot of information like that. She's the one that's added the artsy side of the hook, as we say, the hook, that first 2 to 3 seconds. And then I get to do my thing after that. And when I say my thing, the information, if you will, she's usually the one that puts some things together so that we can get to the field and have an organized way to go about it. But yeah, I mean, we make a great team, and I'm just, I don't know what to say, man. I'm just blessed.
No, that's awesome. The trifecta, you and her and God, that's as real as it gets. So I appreciate you giving me that insight. I always try to ask that when it comes to marriage and people that's been married for a long time, man. That's super important. My wife is also, one of those pillars for me. Like she's hardcore, and she's not a people person either, but she's a 3-time combat vet. She did 8 years Afghanistan, Iraq, Kuwait, 2 Purple Hearts, 6 years LEO, and then 2 years as a magistrate. So she did over 20 years fighting bad guys. She's had 10 back surgeries in the past 6 years.
Yeah, she's remarkable then.
But she's one of those people that she knows within 2 seconds of meeting somebody. She's like, yeah, this is a good person, or nope, this person is not worth being around. And
it's embarrassing to admit that it took me too long to recognize that in her. And it was a lot of my own insecurities that I wanted to make things right or keep things congenial or whatever. And she saw through a bunch of stuff and saw through a bunch of people. And again, it sounds like you were in the same boat. I'm very thankful.
Yes, 100%. That is awesome. Thanks for sharing that with us, man. I love hearing stuff like that. What made you guys, what was the, because I was homeschooled, my whole family, my younger brother and sister too. So, what made you take that route?
She's got a degree in education. She was going to be her mother was a school teacher in the public school system, and my wife is going to be a teacher in the school system. And by the time she got through her bachelor's degree, she was pretty confident that if we had children, because we didn't have kids then, she was pretty confident that there's no way she could put them in the public school system because she had seen behind the curtain. And so we struggled with that because we wanted to make our families happy when we were married and having kids. And it just came down to, we just didn't feel like that was the way to go for us and our children. She had the smarts. As she said a million times, you don't have to have a degree in education to homeschool your children. You just got to have a strong desire to educate them, and you'll figure out how to make it work.
You'll figure it out.
You will get it figured out.
Patrick, right here, bro. Bam, scan that. If you want to see all of the social media stuff for Craig, it's right there, Nature Reliance School.
Hey, Jax, what's up?
Yeah, Jax is up in the house too. Oh, and nice. She even threw it up there too. See, I got it. I got it, Jax. I'm just a little slow on the draw. I don't have Russ.
I've been talking, so I've missed the chat. If I've missed something in the chat, put it up there again so that I can get to your questions if I've missed something.
No, I star them. Them. So we'll actually work those in. You don't have to still watch and stuff like that, but you don't have to get too deep in there because I'm like starring stuff and doing all the things so that I can bring those up later on. So now though, I've got to go to my media assets and take that down. Back to the comments. And then my wife was in the comments. And yes, dear, I do appreciate you and love you and all the stuff that you do. So she gave me the all shucks
about that.
Yeah.
Homeschool. Yeah. I want to pat her on the back, at least virtually, because that's a hard job. And I really appreciate the fact that she's doing it. That's awesome.
Now that is for me, what goes right back to what you just said about marriage, right? God, bring your children up in the way that you would want them. And that's our jobs as parents. So that's awesome. That is awesome. I love hearing that kind of stuff. We even have Rick Dunlop in the house. What's going on, Rick? Man, we got the whole crew that's jumping up in here. So and hi guys. And another thing is, for all y'all that don't know, you should by now, Jax, of course, she is appearing on season 13 of Alone, which I think it's June 17th is airing the first episode, I believe. So make sure, Patrick Seven said, just subscribed. Awesome. You won't be sorry.
I appreciate that.
Awesome stuff. Martial arts, man. Let's talk about that. What was your discipline? What did you roll with?
Okay, so I started, my first martial art was judo, and the reason I got into judo was kind of funny, really. My wife was in her last year of school, and we were living in married housing, you know, where you can sit on one side of the wall and put your feet up and they're on the other side of the wall. I mean, a tiny little place. I was bored out of my mind. I had already gotten my first serious job out of college, and she was a nerd, 4.0 nerd in the library, in class.
We got the same wives.
So I was down at the married housing laundromat doing laundry, and there was a sign up above the dryer that said, "Are you bored? Do judo." And so I was like, oh my gosh, this is for
marketing genius.
So I saw where you were supposed to go, and I walked into the basement of the basketball place there at Eastern Kentucky University, and I could hear this girl screaming like, ah, and it sounded like somebody was beating her to death. And then boom, and boom. And I thought, man, this girl, I mean, me being farm boy Craig and redneck, you know, I'm going to go save this girl. Right. Well, when I turned the corner and go into what I now understood to be the dojo, this girl was picking this dude up and body slamming him. I mean, for me, not knowing anything about martial arts, that's all I understood. I'm like, man, whatever she's doing, I want to do it. I want to pick humans up and hit them with the earth. So I started studying judo at that time, and then studied aikido and iaido as well. And I did those and got fairly advanced rank in those, and also dabbled slightly in Krav, a little bit of Filipino combat systems, and some Brazilian jiu-jitsu. And those were all things that I did pretty much after I quit. I developed an injury in my left arm, and I had a surgeon tell me, Craig, if you don't quit what you're doing, I'm going to have to cut your left arm off.
Good grief.
It was just a pretty severe injury from martial arts training. And so I quit. I mean, that's what I was doing for a living. And so,
so you were an instructor then. You were actually an instructor
full time. You know, I had nearly 100 students at the time that I quit doing martial arts. And fortunately for me, the 2006 start of Nature Reliance School had come long before that. And so we started segueing a lot of our attention. And this is another part of that time where I was doing construction just to have money to pay bills. Yeah. And so eventually Nature Reliance School grew into something where we could make a living from it. But yeah, that's what I was doing. A lot of picking up humans and hitting them with the earth. A lot of it.
You know, that's a good stress relief. I'm not going to lie. I did it for about 7 years. You know, I got in when I was young. And cage fighting, you know, the cage. I think UFC 3. I think UFC 3 was out when I first started in the ring, and did that for like 7 years. Quit before I turned pro. I was going from a pro card. My youngest daughter was about to be born, and I was like, I don't know, you know, I need to make money, and this is not turning the profit that it should. Right. I was 52-1. I mean, I had a great fight record, and I had to go pro or give it up, because at a certain point, you know, you just can't. People don't want to fight amateur guys who's got, you know, over 50 fights under their belt. You're not getting any fights at that point. So, but it was a great time. Got to meet a whole lot of awesome people. Bill Superfoot Wallace, actually got to spar with Bill.
Oh wow,
that was
face off, didn't he?
He almost broke my nose.
Yeah, I bet, man.
Man, he did that
smooth
hook kick, wheel kick, caught me in the nose, and that's his thing. You know, I knew he's going to throw this, but his feet, and he was well up in his 50s, late 50s. I think at that. I think Bill is way into his 70s now, but I mean, it blew my mind and blew out the end of my nose too as well. So, but it was cool, you know, got a bloody nose from Bill Super Bowl Wallace. Why not? So my wife just had to throw that up there. No kidding. So you know the debut date of the season of Alone, but not our anniversary. It's the 15th.
She's calling you out, man. That's awesome.
It's the 15th. Well, that's what you get. These combat vet wives, you know, they're brutal. But you know, and for the record, I'm gonna throw this story up here because I didn't realize she was going to be in the comments, but here she is. So usually she's like, I'm so tired of hearing your mouth run. You know, this is the last thing she'll do, but she's in here. She must be a Craig Caudill fan. So
well, I'm glad she's here. I certainly am. I mean, it's good. I love it that you all can do stuff together. It's fantastic.
Oh, I love it. I love it. What's awesome is that she is now a full-time homesteader. We've got over 400 chickens on the ground now.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Yeah, we you know, heritage breed goats and turkeys. We, you know, she sells to at the markets. We actually produce, you know, raise out and process and bag and the whole bit, start to finish. So I still do a little construction in the events, but you know, she's full-time homesteading and she loves it. Hard work, and she wouldn't have it any other way. But she called me out on that, so I'm going to call her out because we were sitting on the couch. It's been a few years ago, and my wife is the epitome of, like, she isn't into flowers. I mean, she still likes flowers, but you know, we're more about fighting over whose rifle is whose, and you know, things of that nature. And we're sitting on the couch, and that, I think it was Jared, like, comes up on the television screen. We're watching the boob tube, and we both look at each other and we realize that our anniversary was 2 days earlier. You know, both of us forgot.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to call you back out.
I'm sorry. There's something right about that. I have to say, there's just something right about that.
That's how it goes. We're an interested people that come around us. They're always like, are you guys okay? You know, they don't know how to take us. We're pretty brutal with one another, but it's just our nature. And then she's back in here. Oh, see, Amber, if you're the full-time chicken sitter, does that mean you're hatching the eggs? We do some. I want to get to the point, and that's a big thing. People talk about self-reliance. What's your take on self-reliance? You know, in general, the general phrase.
I like the word. It's one of my more favorite words, quite frankly. You know, when we started Nature Reliance School, I mean, think about it, it's Nature Reliance. The thing that I was looking at is that there was a lot of people that were teaching what is, you know, self-reliance, and they were utilizing, and let's talk about chickens, for example. Yeah, that's self-reliance, but you can't do it without the nature of chickens and the things that are out there. And so I thought, what is the root of what we're doing? And I think we're relying on nature to make hand drills and bow drills and survivaling and all that stuff. And so I ended up going with Nature Reliance, but I do love the concept of self-reliance better than I do survival as a word, or even definitely prepping. I seriously do. I'm not just saying it because it's in your name, but I like the word readiness. I've gotten fond of the word resilience. These are all those buzzwords, you know, but I like readiness as a word. This idea of survival and prepping, they have a lot of negative connotations attached to them. I've been interviewed several times on national news, CNN, Fox, and ABC News, and it seems like when the journalists are wanting to talk to me about survival and prepping, there's always a negative connotation to it. And I've always tried to be a professional when I do those interviews. And there's some things that there's been several places that I've been not invited back because I just won't answer the questions and I won't agree to the line of questioning where they're trying to take me. And so I get a lot of people upset with me over that. And I just don't care. I've just tried to present a professionalism about survival. Let's just call it that, self-reliance or what have you. And so I do like that word, self-reliance.
I do too. It is misleading in this day and age, though. I will say that I had this conversation a while. It was actually Alan Kay and I were talking. We were hanging out one night, and if you know Alan Kay, right?
I do. I know of him.
Yeah. And so we're having a conversation. He was like, man, self-reliance, it's all crap. I'm like, what? And he was like, it's a circle. He's like, you have to close that loop. And he's like, there is no self-reliance really anymore. It's just striving to close a loop. I was like, that's solid right there, because, you know, chickens as that example, you know, you need to be hatching the chicken and raise the chicken and process it and then repeat without any outside, help. You're supposed to be doing it all on your own. And so what it really, comes down to is, self-reliance is really community.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that I've been openly criticized for in my writing, and this concept came about when I wrote my first book, and it's the title of the book's Extreme Wilderness Survival, and it's out of print, so you can't get it. But the concept that I came up with that book was a 4-piece, what I call the puzzle pieces of survival or self-reliance: mindset, skills, teamwork, and gear. And I was widely criticized because so many people are good at skills and a lot of people are good at being gear freaks, but they forego the mindset component and they definitely forego the community teamwork component. And when I mentioned I'm really into statistics, even though I'm into them, I have a hard time saying statistics. But when I gathered 200 plus stories on how people had died or experienced tragedy in the outdoors. And so I wanted to look at it from a statistical perspective. What's causing these things? And a lot of those things were caused by a lack of teamwork. And usually it was dwindled down to some people were trying to be a leader when they didn't have any business being a leader. Sometimes people needed to follow and they didn't know how to follow. And there's a time for both. There are subjects that I am not very good at. And if somebody's teaching them, I'm listening and shutting up.
Yeah.
And there's other things where I feel very comfortable, but at the same time, it doesn't mean that I don't listen to other people, even in the things that I feel very comfortable with. So, to build on what you said, community, yeah, I think it's an absolutely critical aspect of self-reliance. You do rely on other people. I like to say in classes all the time that, if you came here and you flipped on a switch and the electricity came to wherever you're staying and clean water came out of a water faucet, then you are dependent upon other people already.
Yes.
You did not source that water. You did not make that electricity happen. You're already dependent and utilizing other people. So why not try to expand upon that in our small collectives of survival communities and self-reliance communities or whatever it might be?
Yeah. Growing up that lifestyle, we weren't completely off grid because, off grid means to go to town is next to impossible, so we could get to town, but town was usually, 45 minutes to an hour away and living in tents and cooking on campfires. And man, that's a brutal life. I think,
yeah, it is.
I wish that YouTube Craig Caudill was out at that time. So because it was rough, like just firewood alone, man, it was like all day long. Like that's a full-time job. Like who's going to start a fire 3 times a day? Right.
100%.
And people watch these videos and, the prepping and survival and run off in the woods with a snare and a bow drill. And I want to live forever. I'm like, no, man,
nope.
Like full time, just gathering firewood and drinking water. I know, man, I wore a yoke out, the yoke with the 5-gallon jerry can on each side. And this is a family of 5. So, how much water does a family of 5 use for drinking, eating, for bathing, hygiene, all that stuff? Looking at 20, 30 gallons a day. And if we weren't right up on top of a stream, it meant you got to pack mule that stuff in. So,
right.
Yeah, I wish I'd have had some Craig Caudill back then, man. I'll tell you that right now, because it was rough.
It seriously is one of the things, I've done 2 30-day trips in the woods with nothing but a knife solo, no backup, no security, nobody to talk to
Man, I was going to talk to you about this. I got to hear when did you do it first? Like how old were you at that time?
Let me say this first and then we'll get to that because I don't like talking about myself.
But that's why we're here.
Yeah, I know. But let me say because we teach a class, we have tiers of training: survival 1, 2, and 3. And survival 3 is where I take people that are new to the outdoors. They've gone through level 1, level 2, and they go into the woods for a weekend and live there and all they take with them is a knife. That's it. And so I'm training people how to do that sort of thing. And that what you just mentioned is one of the big things that comes out of the class is that we'll spend an inordinate amount of our time, because we always do this in crappy weather on purpose, is just keeping the fire going and getting water clean and figuring out how to make that happen out there with nothing but a knife is not an easy task. And I mean, it's basically what we're doing the whole time we're out there. And so that's a good lesson for people. But yeah, I mean, so I was in my early 20s when I did it, and it was pretty foolhardy. I don't recommend it at all. If I was going to do it again, I would do it much like Jax has done it, where she had a team. I mean, I'm not saying you have to go on alone, but have a team where you have some backup so that if things don't go right, you can have somebody take care of you. That's what a production crew
you
does.
just wandered out into the woods. And
Now, I had my roommate in college drop me off in the woods in the Daniel Boone National Forest, and we had a 30-day date where he was going to come back and pick me up in 30 days. And so, yeah, I mean, I went spring, summer the first time, and it went really well. There was a lot of things that I don't teach, that I don't recommend people doing, like drinking straight from streams and stuff like that at the time. I would never teach people to do that now. And I wish I hadn't done it then. I was okay spring, summer, but I got really overconfident. And this is why I wrote a chapter in my first book on how to control your ego, and went back in the wintertime to do it again and nearly starved to death because I really didn't know what I was doing. I was a reenactor, and I thought I was going to do the Daniel Boone thing. And I just didn't have the requisite skill set to do that and do it well, especially considering I didn't have any backup at all. I mean, none.
I mean, how did that conversation with your friend go? It's like, hey, in 30 days, if I'm not here, like, just tell everybody I love them.
I hate to say it, but there was not a plan for it, man. It was just, it was just so stupid. It was just so stupid what I did. It was foolhardy. I tell it because I think there's a lot of things that I've written about, particularly that first book, that I don't, number one, I don't like talking about it too much because it was a difficult time. I wanted to commit suicide while I was out there because I got so mad at myself for not knowing what I was doing. And I didn't have the energy to do the things I wanted to do. And so it's very problematic in my mind. But with that said, like a lot of things, there's so many lessons that came out of it that I now am very fortunate to be able to teach people to keep them from doing that sort of thing, like how to control your ego, how to communicate effectively with other people. These are all, because being with other people is a cool thing. Going solo, lone wolf is a stupid and foolhardy methodology. Walking out in the woods by yourself with, like you mentioned earlier, a knife and a snare or whatever. I mean, that's just that's stupid, man. It's just stupid. But without those experiences and several other things that I've done in my life, I wouldn't be where I'm at right now. I just couldn't be. So I'm thankful for the struggles that I've been through.
Did you, man, I remember the toughest part of living out just with nothing was, like, did you get to that point? I mean, it sounds like the first time everything kind of went pretty good and give you that false sense of hope for when you went back in the winter. Was there ever that point where I remember I was like on my own nerves? Like, it was so quiet. I was driving myself nuts. Like, I don't know. Did you ever have that?
I didn't have that issue. I never didn't get on my known nerves, but I did get mad at myself for putting myself in a position to where I thought I was getting ready to die. And
Gotcha.
so, and to the point that you were asking earlier, me and my roommate didn't talk about what to do if I didn't show up at the pickup point, because I was going to be there. And don't get me wrong, that's probably something that helped me, drove me, to accomplish what I was trying to do. But I was just sitting here again, talking about it again, and just so pissed off at myself for doing something stupid like that. Man,
but that's what makes us who we are. Like, I have done so many stupid things through the years, and my wife's in the comments. She's going to pop in. She said, now you know how I feel. I was a stupid magnet. But if I would have changed one thing, like, where would I be right now? Maybe it would have altered everything of my course of life. Who knows? But
chaos theory, man. The butterfly wings may cause a hurricane across the planet. I mean, who knows and I can point to things that happened during those 30-day events that without a doubt helped me write a book the first time. And it's not that I had to research. There's some things that I've written about many times that I don't have to research too much. It's there. I mean, I've experienced it. And so that is, yeah, I'm glad. I'm glad it happened. Even
No,
though
for
I'm mad at
sure.
myself.
Well, thanks for, yeah. I mean, I'm the same way. I get mad about stuff I start thinking of and stuff. So I will throw this up here though, because Tom Bryce is a knife man. I am as well. What'd you get? Was it the same knife? Was it a different knife? What was the knife?
Same knife. It was a knife that I made. It was a Green River blade that I'd paid $7 for at Friendship, Indiana. And I put a handle from oak that I'd cut a piece of a tier rail out of the barn and formed a handle on it made out of oak, and it just put some stain on it and and made a leather sheath for it and carried it into the woods.
Nice.
On the second
Do you
trip,
still have it?
no, on the second trip, I threw it in the woods as I was walking out and left it there.
You
It's
know,
still out there somewhere.
I feel that. I feel that.
You know
Maybe
what I mean?
someday somebody, oh yeah, I was 52-1 fights. One fight I lost by points. I sent the guy to the hospital, and that was the first second place trophy that I got. And I went home and I threw every single one of my trophies in the garbage.
Wow.
And that's the only trophy I still have. It was the only one that had any meaning, because
I understand. I really
you
do.
understand right there. You understand.
Yep, I
So,
do.
there's still pictures of all those trophies behind me and stuff, big ones, little ones, all in the garbage, man. And I don't regret it. It was
No.
what I did at the time. I felt it was necessary, and it was one of those humbling moments. And I think that's what you're talking about. You have those humbling moments in life where it changes your perspective in a good way.
Yeah, 100%. I'm a big fan of being humbled and learning things, and I guess that's part of the reason I've been humbled a lot, because I'll put myself in positions where I know it's difficult, and I'll have to push myself, and some things I don't get accomplished, whether it's a physical exercise or writing something that like there was a article I put out. Which one was it? I put it out an article. Yeah, I put it out on my blog piece recently, where I've been writing that article for well over a year.
Oh, wow.
And as I wrote on Facebook trying to tell people about it, if it had been paper, there would be a pile of paper as big as my dog of wadded up pieces of paper where I'd crumpled it up, threw it towards the trash can, and just had to start over. But yeah, I finally did it, put it out there, and that's something that's come up with every book I've written too. I feel incredibly vulnerable when I put a book out. It's not easy to do that when I write a blog piece, when I write a magazine article, when I make videos for that matter.
Oh man.
It's there. You put yourself out, and in today's day and age, it's very easy to be hammered by criticism. And me, with the personality I have, I'm very empathetic. And so I've gotten to the point where I just can't read comments anymore at all. I just can't, because I take to heart what people say. I try my best to help people and build people up and make them stronger than they were before they came in contact with me. That's my whole goal. And when people just spit on me for trying to do that, it bothers me. So I just, fortunately my wife does not get connected emotionally to stuff like that. So that's why she handles social media now. Because I don't have to.
I understand that 100%, man. Everything. And it's just a sick world too, because social media is really, if you're in this space, you have to do it. It's hard for me to do public speaking and the videos and I bet you on this phone here, I bet you there's like 5,000 little short videos where I've just not done anything with them, because I record a whole bunch of them and then I go read them. I'm like, oh, that sucks. I'm not even, and maybe they do, maybe they don't, it's just, but what a world we live in where we have to deal with that kind of stuff. Let's do a question, because I got a couple starred questions up here. I saw that. And guys, here's one thing I was going to say. At the end of this, Craig is going to pop a question. Whoever gets the answer, I'm going to send you not one, but 2 knives, since we were talking about them. At CanCon, got a Mora blade there. And from our good friend Brian over Survival Gear. And then we've got the skeletonized push dagger. So I'm going to throw that to whoever gets this question that we're going to do in the comments at the end of this show. So stick around. We'll give those away. But Patrick 7 says, Craig, do you have any stories about unique individuals showing up for training? There always seems to be that one guy. And I'm going to guess that's a yes, just by the laugh.
Patrick. Yes. I don't know what. Yes, there's a lot of that guy that after doing this stuff since 2006, we've had several of those guys. I don't know even where to begin, which would be the best story. Maybe if it's educational, I say this, and maybe this is a decent story, but I'm very particular about safety in a class. Very particular. People trust me to teach them. They trust our instructor crew to teach them and to take care of them and not put them in dangerous situations. That doesn't mean we don't push people. We push people. Yeah, we definitely push people, but there's backups. And so I like to say it this way, I'm a teddy bear when it comes to class and training people and doing all the things until you do something I have told you not to do that's unsafe. And then I turn into a grizzly bear in about 0.25 seconds. And so we had this guy in class years ago that I was doing a basic introduction to knife safety at a survival level 1 course. But in that course, I have some very particulars how we handle knives and what we do with them in class, because we've got 25 people in class and we're using knives and axes and saws and all the things. And if we don't have a regimented way of doing that, then people get hurt. And so I had some things that I told people they should never do. And as soon as I said something, this guy said, well, I learned this in the Boy Scouts. And he started swinging with his knife. Basically, he was trying to talk about a blood circle, but he had somebody that was inside of his blood circle.
Yeah.
When he swung the knife. And man, I don't know what else to say, but I ate his lunch. I don't reprimand and hammer on. In SEER class, we do. I'll hammer people pretty hard in SEER class. But in normal classes, I don't hammer people in front of other people. That's unprofessional, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And so I hammered him hard. He earned every bit of that.
Oh, absolutely.
The hammering that I gave him. And so, yeah, I mean, it was one of those things where he was okay. And then he literally left in the middle of the night. So he didn't have to see or talk to anybody.
Is it getting harder? Is it getting harder to teach people, Craig, because of where we're at in the world? Like, navigation wise, it's not, GPS and nobody uses an atlas and.
No, I don't think so. And let me preface my answer with saying this. We have a reputation of being great with beginners. And so if you run across anybody that's given a testimonial or given a survey on our class, they'll say something that makes people know when they come to class, particularly a level 1 class, it is a beginner class. And so we're going to treat you like beginners. When you come to level 2 or level 3, we're way beyond that at this point. So, but level 1s, I expect people to be beginners and I treat them as such and I educate them as such because my goal is to build people up, make people better, stronger, faster, whatever I can do to make them more, to use this word to me, and you're talking about self-reliant. I'm there for them. That's my reasoning for being there. It's not for them to come hang out with me and to look at me. It's my job to make them better, period. And so we have developed that reputation. So yeah, we do have, this weekend class that I just got back from, Friday, Saturday, Sunday with Scout Tracker. I got people that had never tracked in their life that were tracking by the end of the weekend and doing a good job of it. And so it's one of those things that if you have the right mindset as a professional instructor, you can get those kind of things done. And I feel like our instructor cadre is really good at that.
Great answer. And I thought it was last year, but was the year before I was out there at the tracking class that you put on. With Brian with Survival Gear.
Yeah, you and Brian were great assets.
It was a great, well, I will say I'm not the tracking professional that I thought I was. And I remember explicitly we had just got out, we were in the woods, and I will tell you that I've done some tracking classes before, in a sand pit, and that's way different than the hills of Appalachia. And there was a big the leaves were all kicked up. I was like, oh, there it is. We're on track. And it was turkeys. And
Yeah.
I was so disappointed.
Yeah. Tracking's my jam, man. If I could do tracking every day as a instructional part of my life, I would. I personally track every day as much as I can. I'll spend, even if it's 5 minutes, I'm either reading something, studying something, researching, or actually on a track line somewhere doing something every day. And because I love it. And I actually train people that their lives or the lives of people they're going after depend upon the instruction that I'm offering to them. And so I take that as a sacred responsibility. I mean, I train military folks, federal law enforcement that are going after people that have murdered their spouse or killed some people. And, you know, they have to go in the woods and go get those people and bring them back. And so sometimes tracking is a tool that they use. And so if I'm training in that, I've got to be good. So I spend a lot of time doing it.
No, that's awesome. And I think that's what it is it's one of those skills that you got to keep sharp every single day. And that's what it comes down to. You're doing it every single day. And so I am not. And that shows right there. This is completely off subject, but there was something quite a few years ago I saw in one of your posts, but it made me think of it. I was sitting around today. I was like, man, I got to ask Craig about that. Why is there not a movie about Lewis Wetzel? Why?
You got me, man. And why is there not more about Simon Kenton? Why is there not more about George Rogers Clark?
Yes.
I mean, I love this, that they're giving some attention to George Washington right now. There's been a couple of documentaries put out, and I haven't seen them yet, and I probably will. But I'm telling you, man, Daniel, dude, that blog that I wrote, which got me, a lot of the things that I write, I try to make this clear. A lot of the things that I write, and I try to make it obvious when I write about them, is they're sometimes research projects for me.
Mm-hmm.
And so I find something that I'm interested in, and so I dig into it and I write it from the perspective of, hey, I'm doing research, not as I'm pardon me, I'm a subject matter expert. Lewis Wetzel was one of them. I did a video and a blog on him, and man, the more I dug into it, I thought, dude, this dude needs to be on a coin or a bill.
A coin. Like you threw a picture of him up on your Facebook page. I wanted to say it was just his picture. And I was like, man, who's this Craig Caudill dude? And then that picture popped up. I was like, oh, snap.
There he is.
He likes Lewis Wetzel. Snap. Okay. I can probably hang out with Craig
dude, man.
That dude was amazing. Look, guys, just Google Deathwind, Lewis Wetzel. I'm gonna tell you, this guy was
podcast on that too, didn't I, T? I think it was a podcast I did on that. I can't remember. I'll have to look that up myself. I haven't listened.
The only thing I saw was you put a picture up on Facebook of Lewis Wetzel, and I was like, dude, that is, and I knew who it was because years ago that was like one of the stories, like reading about, 13 years old, running, reloading a rifle, shooting in full sprint. I was like, man, this dude is hardcore from the get-go. And
see,
so
what when I said I did reenacting, that's one of the things that we did in Friendship, Indiana. And there's some people probably in the chat that know what I'm talking about. It's a large event space, and a couple times a year they have these massive National Muzzleloading Rifle Association get-togethers. And my whole family were competitors in that. But one of the things that I competed in as a kid was what's referred to as the squirrel shoot. And you would run through the woods and you would throw knives, you would throw tomahawks, you would shoot, you would load your rifle on the run. And I'm talking Kentucky long rifle. And anybody that knows what I'm talking about knows what I'm talking about. That is no easy task with that long rifle. And you would shoot, it was literally called the squirrel shoot. So some of the targets were the size of a squirrel out 30 yards, and you're running out of breath, stop, shoot. And then the last shot, I'll never forget the one time that I did really well in it. You had to paddle out in this Grumman, one of those old aluminum Grumman canoes out in this pond, and you had to stand up with your rifle and shoot from the canoe at a target. And so I'm like this in the canoe, man, trying to get my breathing back, trying to get my balance. And I mean, I'm like, bam. And I mean, I'm probably 13 years old.
Yeah.
nailed the target, did really well. Felt like king of the earth, man. I mean, it was
Man,
such
that
an
was
awesome
the
experience.
proving grounds of the 1700s right there. Is
Yeah,
what you
dude.
were doing.
I mean, it was so much fun. I mean,
Run and gun with a
yeah,
black
dude.
powder
I mean,
rifle. That's
yeah. And throwing,
oh,
and throwing tomahawks, like
dude.
running and throwing a tomahawk. I mean, that's a bad stuff, man.
That's awesome, dude. Yeah, I had to ask that because that was what really I struck my interest. It isn't. I had never watched really any of your stuff, and then you posted that picture, and I was
cool.
scrolling through.
Well, I'm glad that
I was
kind of
like,
connected, man. I'm very
absolutely, absolutely. But hey, seriously, guys, look up, Google Deathwind Lewis
Yeah.
Wetzel. There's a bunch of stuff on there that says it wasn't real and blah blah blah. You know what? I don't care. It was real. Dude was legit. So man, we've already blown through a whole hour, and it does feel like we've been chatting for like 15 minutes.
Have we been here yet? Have we started?
Yeah.
Hey,
So
yes, I'm gonna put it in the chat. Okay.
put that in there, guys. I'm gonna watch it too. I didn't know you did a podcast on Lewis Wetzel. So
yeah, I'm putting it in the chat, the Spotify link to it at least.
Yeah, for sure. Throw that in there, man. It is well worth you listen and you're reading. That guy was. You want to talk about hardcore? That's as real as you get. You want to talk about self-reliance and survival and all that stuff? Good night. Loved it. One day, maybe somebody will pick that up and make a movie. Guys, it's that time. So let's do a question. Craig's going to throw a question out for these two knives.
Is Jack's allowed to answer?
Jax, you're not allowed to answer. If you're out there, don't you even answer, because we literally said this. I was like, well, before the show, I said, hey man, think of maybe a tree question. And I've
got a tree question.
As long as Jax is not in the audience. So Jax, you cannot win this. Don't even answer this.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
If you're still in the chat, because I know you'll get it.
Yeah.
So I'll let you answer it if nobody gets it here with the next couple minutes. So hit everybody with the question.
All right, everybody. As it relates to trees, what does the mnemonic mad buck represent?
There you go. I don't even know this. There's
no. See,
I'm
here to educate, baby.
Say this one more time. Give it to us one more time.
As it relates to trees, what does the mnemonic mad buck represent? No Googling, not allowed. Don't cheat.
Come on, somebody. Come on out here in chat land. Patrick, maybe. I see eyeballs. There's a bunch of eyeballs out here in the world. And opposite branching pattern.
He's
are we going to give it to him?
Is he the first one?
He is the first one. Patrick said in the opposite.
Oh, there it is. Okay. So Patrick said it first because he's right. Mad buck, maple ash, dogwood, or buckeye are the tree species that have opposite branching.
Okay.
So that is exactly what Patrick said first. And then somebody else, I can't remember who it was now, came in and said maple ash, dogwood, and buckeye. And they're both
Patrick.
Right.
So I'll tell you what. Here's what we're going to do. Because they were both right. There's two knives.
Boom.
Patrick.
Love it.
Patrick, put in the comments which knife you want. All right. And then who was the other one that got it? Craig?
Looks like Kevin PM9's got
Kevin PM9.
Maple ash. Oh, no, he didn't say buckeye.
So he didn't
Brooks
say buckeye.
Littleton got maple ash, dogwood, and buckeye.
So Brooks was the second.
Yes.
So here we go, guys. All right. So we got Brooks and we got Patrick. Patrick, which one do you want? And he said, can we split it? I just said yes. So he wants the skeletonized push. So the more is going to go to Kevin. So what I need you guys to do is let me find it. Here you go. Write that down. Send me an email with your name, your address to bob@mountainreadiness.com. And I will mail you this knife. And because it was cool. And I learned something.
This is cool. I love this. This is fun.
I love giving some stuff away, man. I love giving stuff away. It's just my thing, you know. It's and we get to learn something on top of it.
Yeah.
So what is what's one lesson of nature that every person that they should take that needs to hear? You know, give somebody something from nature. I don't know, give us a closing comment of nature that everyone needs to hear. All right, let's hear it.
This, I'll pose a problem and then we'll chat about it and see if it helps.
All right.
Nearly everybody here thinks that the sun rises in the east and sets in the west, and it does not. It does not rise in the east and set in the west. The sun is sitting right there and it does not move. And we rotate around it. So it appears to us as if it rises in the east and sets in the west. And the reason, and I'm being silly about it a little bit, but I'm not, because the sun doesn't actually move. It's just there. And if we come to an understanding that it is two or three things, we are on an axis that is tilted. We rotate, the earth rotates one time for a 24-hour period, and then it goes in an elliptical around the sun at the same time it's doing those other two things. Then we begin to understand that things like the shadow stick method can be very, very incorrect. The shadow stick method of wayfinding and finding the east-west line is only accurate 2 days of the year. The rest of the year, it's slowly but surely getting more inaccurate, all the way up to 22 degrees off from an east-west line. And 22 degrees, you all, if you're not aware, is a lot when it comes to navigation. Yes. And so I think the beginning, when I started developing, because I wrote a book on navigation too, I have a whole chapter on natural navigation, and I have a kid's book that surrounds reading nature signs. Once I started understanding simple lessons like, hey, the sun doesn't actually move, we do this around it, and that's why we can be 22 degrees off. Those are all the things that I think are critical to beginning to understand so much other stuff out there. So much stuff.
Awesome.
There's direction finding that come from reading puddles, reading trees, reading plants, reading the birth site of different insects on milkweed. I mean, there's all these things that you can read in nature based upon sunlight, for example, and beginning to understand a simple concept like that can just expand our awareness of what's going on around us at any time.
Awesome. I love it. I saw somebody talking here a while back, and they were talking about how the word human was derived from the Latin humus, soil. And I was like, man, that's deep.
I did not know that. That's good. I
like
that.
And I was like, back to the earth, back to God, man. That's what it is.
That's what I was getting ready to say. I mean, it's so interesting how often things come back to scripture. I mean, it's just, yeah, I like that. Whoever told you that, if you're here, thank you.
I don't even know. I can't even remember. We were talking about this gray, man, but it is like, human derived from humus, from soil. I was like, from the ground we're taking and back to the ground we go. I was like, man, this is so many ways it intertwines. It just blows my mind, man. Yeah. So it's been an awesome evening. I really enjoyed our chat, Craig. Thanks for coming on here, man.
Well, I mean, I couldn't do it if you didn't have a show to come on to, man. Thank you for doing the show. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
And I'm glad we had a conversation last week, T, that we were talking?
It was. A
lot of people have asked, and Jax is one of them that was encouraging me to come to Mountain Readiness, and I've never made it down there, and I'm coming next year.
Yes.
My schedule is usually booked about a year out, and so I was glad that we got together and figured out. I'm looking forward to being down there with you all and learning from all you all and hanging out and getting to meet a lot of these folks. This has been fun, man. This is great.
This has been glass. We have to do this again before the event, so y'all put it on your calendars. Put it on your calendars. It'll be April 30th through May 2nd is Mountain Readiness 2027. And Craig will be joining us there, along with all the other awesome folks, as well as the lovely Jax Janega in the comments. And Rick, of course, is a huge part of our event and has been since the beginning. So I'm looking forward to it, man. Thank you for a great conversation, and I look forward to many more.
Yeah, sounds good, man. Anytime that I can help anybody with this podcast or whatever, just have me on. I'll do whatever I can to help people.
Absolutely. And vice versa, man. You need anything, you reach out. I'm a Neanderthal, but I'm good at a few things.
Well, you've helped me with StreamYard tonight. I mean, I think that's where I'm going to go. And as soon as I get it lined out, I'll figure out how to get you on, and then we'll get you over there too.
No, hit me up too. I can show you. There's a lot of cool stuff I've learned over the past 3 years using it. It's taken me 3 years, but I figured out a few things. So
Nice. You're my man.
awesome.
Man.
We're going to keep rolling on, guys. Thanks again, Craig. Thanks for everybody in the comments. Love all y'all. Without you guys, there would be no us. So you know the drill, man. Stay safe, stay ready. We will see you next Monday.